banquet on Saturday. And we're super excited to welcome in former Ole Miss star and NFL dude, Dexter McCluster, who will be going into the Mississippi Sports Hall of Fame, and we welcome him into the Out of Bounds show. Dexter McCluster, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing great. How you feeling?
Well, I'm doing great, man. I'm so excited for you. It's well-deserved to be going into the Mississippi Sports Hall of Fame. Where were you when you got the call and someone told you that you were going into the Mississippi Sports Hall of Fame?
Well, I was on my back patio trying to find something on Netflix to watch with my daughters, and got a call from Mississippi, and every time I see that, it's either Langston, my guy, or somebody calling about some Ole Miss news. And, that's when I got the call, and they told me that, I would be inducted, and it was great, man. I called my family, called my wife, and told her what happened, and just couldn't stop smiling. I was excited.
That's great. We had Derek Nix on yesterday.
Yeah, my coach, baby, my guy.
Yeah, he loves you, and he talked. Look, you were like a Swiss Army knife. They lined you up everywhere, and you could hurt people from the backfield, wide receiver, special teams. But the Wildcat was like crazy. What Houston Nutt had done with McFadden and Felix Jones. How much fun was it for you to run that, to be a part of that, and kind of the driving force piece of the offense with the Wildcat?
No, it was definitely great. First and foremost, everybody always wants to be a quarterback at some point in time, and with Coach coming from Arkansas and bringing the Wildcat and turning that thing into the Wild Rebel, it was fun. It was amazing. I was still able to use my running back vision to kind of read and see what I need to do, whether hand the ball off or keep it and hopefully score a touchdown. I didn't quite do so well passing the ball, but running out of the Wild Rebel, man, it was definitely fun, and we had some great success.
That's awesome. All right, do you remember what your favorite play was called when you were?
You know what? I don't remember the name of it, but I would say I would have one of our speedy guys come in motion, whether it's Brandon Bolden. Shout out to him too as well. Great college football player, and again in the NFL and the Ole Miss Rebel. But send him in motion, and I just fake that jet sweep around and wait for my guy to pull around and get inside out of him, and it was usually 9 times out of 10 a touchdown. So I forgot what the play was called, but I'll just call it touchdown.
I think Dexter's telling us it was just called awesome, and when they called my number, I knew what to do, and number 22 knew how to leave people in the dust. Dexter McCluster starred Ole Miss, played in the NFL, going into the Mississippi Sports Hall of Fame this weekend with an amazing class. It's going to be a big weekend for Mississippi and Mississippi sports. He joins us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. All right, right when y'all started doing the Wild Rebel, right when you did you see it and go, okay, this is going to work from the jump, or were you like, hold on, Coach, what are we doing here?
Yeah, well, no, I was honored because obviously he saw something in me and saw that I might be able to get this thing done. But I would definitely be lying if I said I wasn't nervous because, again, lining up, taking a direct snap, being a quarterback in a sense in that moment, it was a little nerve-wracking. But once we got the motions down, once we got the fakes down, I was like, wait a minute, this thing has some legs. And, we had the guys that can block up front. And we had a well-oiled machine. So I know the defenders, when they were out there, the defense, when they saw that, I know they were shaking in their boots, man. So it was always exciting when they called the Wild Rebel. I was ready to run on the field.
I'm convinced Dexter McCluster made the jet sweep famous in the SEC. I mean, not that many people were talking about the jet sweep then, even though it's an awesome play. Yeah. But
definitely, especially if you got the speed. Yes, sir.
That's all right. So what in your prime, how fast were you?
Man, you know what? I'll say this. When the ball is in my hand, nobody's catching me. So in that aspect, man, I go back and I watch some of the stuff, and I'm like, man, I think I'm still running and still fast now, but it looks like I was kind of running and fast forward on some of those plays, man. So those young legs, they definitely did me some justice.
Yeah, they did. Number 22, Dexter McCluster, star at Ole Miss and went on to have an outstanding career in the NFL. Big weekend for Dexter McCluster, Derek Nix, among others, going into the Mississippi Sports Hall of Fame. So you were recruited by the Ogeron staff. Do you remember who your lead recruiter was, Dexter?
Yeah. Well, actually, it was almost a tag team type of deal. Because yes, of course, at Ogeron, but Hugh Freeze was there.
Yeah.
Hugh Freeze came and sat in my living room, and him and Coach Ogeron. And all I remember is, we're in the living room, standing up, throwing pillows, and those guys were saying, how I remind them of a Reggie Bush or X, Y, Z, and I had so much energy and ready to play a game in my living room. I told my dad, I said, hey, I think I want to go visit Ole Miss just to see what this thing is about. And I'm glad I did, because I was committed to South Florida and Tampa. So I wanted to stay home. I thought that was the best decision. And yeah, man, so throwing those pillows around and then going to visit Oxford, it changed my life, man. And here we are now today talking about the Mississippi Sports Hall of Fame, man. So it's definitely a beautiful moment.
That's incredible. Moment. Okay, so you were committed to South Florida, and
yes,
Hugh Freeze and Eddie O come into town, and they're like, you got to come to Oxford and take a visit, and the rest. And then you realize you want to play in the SEC, and the rest is history, kind of. Is that kind of how it played out?
Yes. The roughest moment of that option was my first time on a plane headed to Oxford, but we landed in Memphis, obviously. But the turbulence, man, I was so afraid. So I was like, well, if I go here, I know I'm going to have to drive home because I'm not getting back on another plane. So, yeah, but I mean, I've flown enough now, so I'm pretty used to it now. But that was the roughest part of my recruiting process, was getting on the plane.
Talk about the Florida win and beating Tebow and the Gators.
Yeah, so that meant a lot to me, right? Me being born and raised in Florida, it was all about Florida State. It was all about the Gators, right? Anytime they played, we were watching it on TV. So obviously I wanted to, go there. I went to a Florida State camp, Bobby Bowden camp, man, did some great things. But both of those guys, I think it was the Urban era, they were like, well, I don't know, you're a little too small to play on offense, but maybe we can use you as a returner. They was right about that part, but they were wrong about, me being too small to be able to, run that rock, So going back to, Ole Miss, not going to Gainesville, had my whole family in the crowd, and I went in that thing with a chip on my shoulder because I wanted to let them know that, hey, this is on you, not me. And we had a good time, man. Went in there, I scored a touchdown. We had a Shea Hodge, one of the great receivers at Ole Miss is my guy. He scored. I think Kentrell Lockett blocked this. It was a lot of excitement. Our defense had that short yardage stop where Tebow tried to, quarterback sneaking. So it was just one of those games of like, you know what? I can walk away from this thing feeling pretty good. I think I got my revenge.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, beating the number one Gators and Tim Tebow in Gainesville, and you're from the Tampa area. Pretty awesome right there.
Yeah, it was.
Former Ole Miss star Dexter McCluster on the Out of Bounds show going into the Mississippi Sports Hall of Fame this weekend with one of his coaches. Now, how crazy is that? Dexter,
it's pretty cool. Yeah.
You and Derek Nix are going in the same year. How awesome is that? Both running back. Well, I mean, you're a little bit of everything, but you know what I mean. Both guys who could run the rock. Yeah, but it kind of makes sense because people that know Coach D. Nix, man, and as a player, like he's the definition of a selfless guy. He loves the game, his passion. He has a genuine spirit on and off the field when he's coaching or not coaching. And myself, I pride myself on being that same type of guy, genuine, selfless, loving, willing to give whatever I have to give to make sure everybody else is okay. And he's that type of player. And we were both able to, share some great moments on the football field and do some great things. And I sat in the office with him. We watched film together on the good plays and the bad plays, and we shared a lot of great moments. And for us to go in at the same time, it just feels right. No doubt. Dexter McCluster on the Out of Bounds show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. Let's see, we've got a listener on the text line. Ask Dexter about the Tennessee game in Oxford. Best individual performance I've seen from a Rebel. Was that your best game as an Ole Miss Rebel?
I would 100% say that's the best game. And quick story about that. I don't know if you heard it. I probably told it a million times, but guess I'll tell it a million and one if I got time.
Yes.
But, so the morning of, we're in Tupelo, Mississippi, and I've never been a vocal player up until that point. I just led by example. I worked hard. I just wanted to show them that I'm all in, right? So that morning I woke up and I said, Coach, can I speak to the team this morning? And he was like, yeah, no problem. So stood in front of the team. I just basically told him, hey, I'm going to give it everything I have. I'm all in with this thing. It kind of meant something because Ed Ogeron was on the other side. He recruited me. So I felt like I had something to prove on that aspect because he saw something. I wanted to show him that, hey, you were right. And that I was going to run so hard that they would have to carry me off the field. And when I said that, I had no idea that I was going to run for almost 300 yards and, rush for 4 touchdowns in that game. But, so I guess it's power in the tongue, man. I said I was going to run so hard they're going to have to carry me off, and that they did. Big Dave and Gerald came and picked me up and carried me off the field.
Jarrell Poe. Is that right?
No, Dave and Gerald.
Oh, okay. All right,
center, yeah.
So that was when Lane Kiffin was the head coach, I think, at Tennessee, and Eddie O was his assistant, right?
Yes, correct. Yep. And then, his dad, Monty Kiffin, was actually on, I think, the defensive coordinator as well. So
okay.
It was a lot of legends on that sideline. Yeah.
Yeah, but you took it to them. You were their kryptonite that day. Man.
Yeah. And my dad told me after the game, I didn't get a chance to talk to Coach O, but he found my dad on the field and I think pulled him to their locker room and was like, hey, tell him that I'm proud of him. And, everything that I saw, I was able to, actually see it. Too bad I was on the other side, but just tell him that he did a great job. So that was pretty cool just to kind of hear that and share that story with my dad.
That is too cool. Dexter McCluster on the Out of Bounds show, going into the Mississippi Sports Hall of Fame. Great career at Ole Miss, and then drafted by the Kansas City Chiefs in the second round. Is that right, Dexter?
Yes, 36th pick overall, man. One of the best days of my life.
Where were you, in Oxford, or were you back home in South Florida? Where were you when you got the call?
No, I was back home. So obviously you have the guys, the analysts that's saying, oh, he's small, he's going to be maybe 5th round pick, late round. But something in me was like, the belief system that I have was like, you know what? Maybe somebody might see and try me in the first round, or maybe the second. So I was in Florida back home in my hometown. At the house the first round, didn't get the call. Okay, all good. So the second day I was faced with a decision. My agent was like, hey, we have the venue rented out. We have some camera crews. Do you still want to go through with this? And I was like, yeah, you might as well. Have my whole family in town. Family traveled from all over the place. So went to the venue, and I'm sitting there in front of my family, cameras on. I'm nervous, drinking my water, trying to keep my cool. And my phone rang. Had a small Nokia. It was a blocked number. So I asked my agent, hey, should I pick this up? And he was like, heck yeah. I picked it up, and it ended up being the Chiefs, man. So it was definitely a fun moment. It was definitely a party after that.
What was it like to go from growing up in South Florida with great weather, and then we have really good weather here, and for the most part, the SEC. And then when it got cold in Kansas City, what was that like, Dexter?
Yeah, it was definitely. When people say you'll get used to it, you never get used to it. So
no.
I didn't get my welcome to the NFL until my first playoff game. We were playing Ed Reed and Ray Lewis, the Ravens, right? And it's like, I think it was like 7 degrees, felt like negative, right? So I'm in the locker room at the Chiefs. I put my long sleeves on. I'm warming up, right? And Dwayne Bowe, one of our star receivers, came to me and said, hey, D, what you doing? I said, I'm wrapping up, man. It's cold outside. And he was like, no, we don't wear those, man. We can wear it during warm-ups, but not during the game. So fast forward during the game, I'm sleeveless. We have a TV timeout. I looked at Bo. I said, man, listen, I am freezing. And he was like, well, it's too late. We're already out here now. And so imagine getting hit by guys like Ed Reed and falling on the ground, feeling like bricks. One of the hardest hits I've faced in my career was that game. So it was cold and it was tough.
Man, Dexter McCluster on the Out of Bounds show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. All right, you were also back-to-back Cotton Bowl MVP.
Yeah.
So talk about how, you dominated in both New Year's Day bowl games and how much fun that was.
Yeah, man. So like now, you see these guys now that opt out of this the bowl games because they don't want to get hurt or whatever it may be. But that was never a question in my mind. I wanted to play in the game. It was an exciting opportunity, and we're playing somebody that we probably won't face again, right? So why not go out there and test yourself up into different competitors, right? So, the first year, was not Oklahoma. Who was it? The
Oklahoma
first
State.
No, the first year we played.
Texas
I'm drawing
Tech.
a blank right now. Texas Tech. There you go.
Yeah.
And the big talk was about Crabtree, and all week,
Oh yeah.
Crabtree. Everybody Crabtree, right? So I mean, of course, I'm a competitor, so I'm like, no, okay, we'll see about some Crabtree. We'll see about him, right? So went out there again with that chip, and we had a freaking squad, man. We had some fun out there. We had Mike Wallace out deep. He can run past anybody. So yeah, went out there, did some great things. Ended up getting the MVP there. I was elated. Then again, the next year same bowl game, so new stadium, so it was exciting again. I'm playing in the NFL stadium, so I'm like, hey, this might be the closest thing I can get to the NFL right now. Playing inside, I think it was AT&T Stadium, the Dallas Stadium, and went out there, man, and just kind of just let it loose, man. Trusted myself, trusted my teammates, and we pulled another great win and got another MVP. But I didn't know how big it was until like maybe after football. And it's like, wow, when you just said that to me, it's like, wow, that's really a pretty big accomplishment, and I'm able to kind of sit back and see and enjoy it more so now that I am off the field.
Yeah. Have you been inducted into the Cotton Bowl Hall of Fame yet?
I have, yes, sir. A few years back.
Nice.
More than a few years back. Yes, I was in the same class as Jerry Jones, actually, in his stadium. So it was a pretty cool experience. Yeah. My dad actually went to him during the induction. We had like a dinner, and he was like, "Hey, I gotta ask you a question. Why didn't you draft my son?" I said, "Dad, don't embarrass me like that, man." But Jerry was like, "Well, he was going too fast." I was like, "Okay, that was a cool answer. That was cool."
Cool.
But yeah, it was fun.
That's great. So, Cotton Bowl Hall of Fame. Now,
Cotton Bowl Hall of Fame.
Mississippi Sports Hall of Fame. Former Ole Miss star Dexter McCluster, the Wild Rebel. And he did it all from the running back position or quarterback position, from slot, wide receiver, special teams. He could hurt you. And that team boat raced Tennessee one Saturday and then went down to Gainesville and took out the mighty Gators and Tim Tebow. So have you so what are you doing now, Dexter? What's going on?
So when I first retired, I was training out for 3.5 years, maybe 4 years. I was teamed up with a company down here in Tennessee, Boost Performance. I was training running backs out of college for the NFL draft. Now I'm running McCluster Fit here in Middle Tennessee, training all athletes, all ages. I have football, baseball, basketball, volleyball. I'm going into my 4th year of high school coaching. So I'm all over the place. I'm a dance dad. I have 5 daughters of my own, 1 in college. So I'm just trying to shed this light anywhere I can and show people why I was able to do what I did on the field. And I think they appreciate it and see it more now off the field that, hey, this guy, he just, whatever that it is, he has it. So yeah. I'm blessed. I'm blessed to have it.
Love it. Are you excited about this weekend?
Oh yeah. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to put on. I got to make sure I represent right. So I don't know. I got a couple suits in mind, but we'll see. But I'm definitely excited. My family's going to be down. My wife, my children, a few of my friends. So I'm excited about it. I'm ready to hit the road now.
Congratulations. Dexter McCluster will be inducted into the Mississippi Sports Hall of Fame this weekend. Great player at Ole Miss, awesome career in the NFL, and now doing well, life after the NFL. He'll be in town this weekend with the 2025 class. Dexter, thanks so much for your time today. We can't thank you enough. Appreciate it.
I appreciate it, and howdy toddy. Thank you.
Dexter McCluster, the Wild Rebel, Houston Nutt, Dexter McCluster, Brandon Bolden, Jevin Sneed, Mike Wallace. He listed a bunch of guys that were part of that group that Eddie O kind of teed it up with the recruiting. And then Houston Dale Nutt was able to go to back-to-back Cotton Bowls. How about that, Jackson? Dexter McCluster's in the Cotton Bowl, and he should be. He's in the Cotton Bowl Hall of Fame, back-to-back Cotton Bowl MVP honors, along with the record-setting game against Tennessee, and going down to his home state in Gainesville and beating number 1 Florida and Tim Tebow and Urban Meyer. That was the crying game or whatever, where Tebow vowed to not lose again, and they didn't, and they went and won the national championship his junior year, I think it was, because his senior year was when Saban and Bama would get them in the SEC championship game. Man, Dexter was fun to watch. And that's from someone who, I mean, he would wear you out. I mean, good grief. But he was fun to watch. And that Wild Rebel, give Nutt credit. It worked for a while. And Dexter and Houston Nutt took advantage of it. Back in a second.